logically, according to what I know about what they do, that they would have taken the uterus and the fetus from Diana, that would have been taken, and as a ritual that would have been taken, and they would have removed other body parts.
And done what?
Distributed them for high Illuminati members to consume.
Theme of science fiction is the portal, an extraordinary opening in space or time that connects travelers to distant realms. A good portal is a shortcut, a guide, a door into the unknown, if only they actually existed. It turns out that they do, sort of, and a NASA-funded researcher at the University of Iowa has figured out how to find them. We call them X-points, or electron diffusion regions, explains plasma physicist Jack Scudder of the University of Iowa. They're places where the magnetic field of Earth connects to the magnetic field of the Sun, creating an uninterrupted path leading from our own planet to the Sun's atmosphere 93 million miles away. Observations by NASA's Themis spacecraft and Europe's cluster probes suggest that these magnetic portals open and close dozens of times each day. They're typically located a few tens of thousands of kilometers from Earth, where the geomagnetic field meets the onrushing solar wind. Most portals are small and short-lived. Others are yawning, vast, and sustained. Energetic particles can flow through the openings, heating Earth's upper atmosphere, sparking geomagnetic storms, and igniting bright polar auroras. NASA is planning a mission called MMS, short for Magnetospheric Multiscale Mission, due to launch in 2014 to study the phenomenon. Bristling with energetic particle detectors and magnetic sensors, the 4 spacecraft of MMS will spread out in Earth's magnetosphere and surround the portals to observe how they work. Just one problem: finding them. Magnetic portals are invisible, unstable, and elusive. They open and close without warning, and there are no signposts to guide us in, notes Scudder. Actually, there are signposts, and Scudder has found them. Portals form via the process of magnetic reconnection. Mingling lines of magnetic force from the Sun and Earth crisscross and join to create the openings. X-points are where the crisscross takes place. The sudden joining of magnetic fields can propel jets of charged particles from the X-point, creating an electron diffusion region. To learn how to pinpoint these events, Scudder looked at data from a space probe that orbited Earth more than 10 years ago. In the late 1990s, NASA's polar spacecraft spent years in Earth's magnetosphere, explained Scudder, and it encountered many X-points during its mission. Because Polar carried sensors similar to those of MMS, Scudder decided to see how an X-point looked to Polar. Using Polar data, we have found 5 simple combinations of magnetic field and energetic particle measurements that tell us when we've come across an X-point or an electron diffusion region. A single spacecraft, properly instrumented, can make these measurements. This means that a single member of the MMS constellation, using the diagnostics, can find a portal and alert other members of the constellation. Mission planners long thought that MMS might have to spend a year or so learning to find portals before it could study them. Scudder's work shortcuts the process, allowing MMS to get to work without delay. It's a shortcut worthy of the best portals of fiction. Only this time, the portals are real. And with the new signposts, we know how to find them.
First of all, the major religions of Earth, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and Hinduism, know absolutely nothing about Prime Creator and the yanas subdivided from this consciousness and used by this one and only to commence this brand new creation, being totally different from its other multitudes of creations. The Jews, Romans, and Anunnaki aliens were stealing Christ's identity so they could use it to rule the planet Earth with as forces of darkness, not knowing that Christ Yeshua would be leading the ascended masters and Christ beings by the millions across this galaxy for 2,000 years, charging the grids, the ascended masters spent 11,000 years placing strategically for their higher scientific purposes. You see, the church got its erroneous information from the shape-shifting reptilian Zionists dealing with their hellish allies. None of them have any light, so they all chose fear as their tool to keep the ignorant masses bowing to the churches and synagogues' every command. The three yanas subdivided from Prime Creator and worked through by Prime Creator in order to bring about limitless dimensions and timelines with zillions of God beings as co-creators of these zillions of universes. People have been flying spaceships and traveling in vehicles across this magnificent creation for the past 950 billion years. In this creation, space traveling is a science and an art. And these ignorant fools who thought the planet was flat, that you went to a certain level and then you fell off of planet Earth, have absolutely no knowledge whatsoever about cosmic and galactic science. They are just now learning through the scientific community the fact that there is far more than just one universe coming from some big bang. Stephen Hawking is out of his mind. There is no such thing as a big bang. What Stephen Hawking was calling the big bang was merely Digitaria, which is now Sirius A, B, and C. Digitaria as a supernova imploded in order to produce this galaxy. There are more universes than there are tiny grains of sand in the entire Gobi Desert and build the state of California in there along with it. These fools know nothing about the creation. They know nothing about Prime Creator. They're calling Prime Creator God the Father, with some ignorant German-looking figure talking about this is Jesus Christ, God's only begotten Son. Arias, Calpurnius, Piso, and his four summons, all of them being Hebrew, shape-shifting reptilian humanoids, made up the New Testament. Arias, Calpurnius, Piso portrays himself as the Apostle Paul, while he uses his four sons to portray Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. These four sons being Proclus, Julius, Justin, and Alexander. But people are not intelligent in these belief systems. They don't read anything other than their designated book. They don't go outside of their belief system to find the truth.
Now praying to a black Madonna child.
It is totally unfair to accuse the Caucasian race of creating such unintelligent religious belief systems as Judaism and Christianity, because it was the Hebrews and Romans who stole the obelisks out of Egypt and took them to Rome, so that when the Nibiru planet entered our solar system, as it did every 3,600 years, Anu would get into their spaceships and land in Rome thinking that they were in Egypt. The three of them, the Anunnaki, the Romans, and the Hebrews, conspired to steal Christ's identity, since he had the power of Sirius B in his existence. The Jesus Christ story these three devils made up is an antithesis to anything real about the order of Christ, the first order to allow density to come into existence in this creation. Christ beings fly spaceships and not run around in sandals and robes. The Hebrews knew nothing about cosmic intelligence and cosmic science whatsoever. Theirs was about robes and sandals, and they tried to transfer that onto the African Egyptian priesthood coming out of the pyramid school, which did the ascension for the humans on the planet. Christ, Yeshua, did his ascension at the age of 27. 2 and 7 make 9. There are only 9 numbers, so in actuality, the mathematics is perfect once one does the ascension and becomes an ascended master. One is an immortal being. One cannot be killed. One can easily move from dimension to dimension and from location to location. These are realities the ignorant and savage Europeans and Hebrews, as well as the Anunnaki, know absolutely nothing about. They do not know this creation. This is why they have all of these horrendous TV programs on, where one is eating the flesh of the humans and drinking their blood, because this is what these devils do. The Hebrew shape-shifting reptilian humanoids, as well as the Anunnaki shape-shifting humanoids, with both of them ruling the United Snakes presently, and keeping the war energy going on a constant basis. Violence is their thing. War is big business for these devils. So of course you're going to be living in a world of chaos, a world of violence, a world of evil, a world of stealth, where the powers that be take advantage of the ignorant humans themselves